Welcome everyone to the second game of week 6 in the AAF Simulated on EA Sports, and today we've got a huge one coming to you. Both of these teams looking to keep their seasons going in a good direction. You got the Orlando Apollos 2-3 hosting the Arizona Hotshots, who are 3-2. Big matchup between two teams that are both playoff contenders that need to make a statement win here in week 6 to try to either get back on track or make a big time playoff push. We welcome you right now to Orlando. The hometown Apollos getting ready to take the field. They'll be playing against the Arizona Hotshots, and the interesting thing is, Orlando, we know they're supposed to be one of the best teams in this league. They have a lot of talent offensively and defensively, but they're in a 2-game losing streak. They are 2-3. You know, we expected a lot more out of them, and Steve Spurrier, the head coach, you know, he said a lot of this is on him, and he blames himself for the team's failures for the last couple weeks and really wants to get things back on track here for their home crowd going up against the Arizona Hotshots. And the Hotshots, on the other hand, they were 1-2 to start the season. They were having some struggles, but they have won 2 games in a row, and both of those pretty dominant performances at home to Atlanta, and then San Antonio now on the road against Orlando. We'll see how they can perform. Orlando taking the field, and this home crowd is ready to go. In Orlando, you know, it's been a tough bout for them the last couple weeks on the road. At Salt Lake, they were blown out 32-8. And then at Birmingham, they lost 26-23. They've got to find a way to get back on track here against Arizona. Next week, they'll be traveling to face Atlanta. That's also going to be a game that they have to win. They really need to start putting together some wins. And we know this offense can make it happen. It's a matter of will they actually put it together. So Elliott Fry now getting ready to kick things off from Orlando. He'll send it away. Back to receive is Justin Stockton, the return man for Arizona. We'll take it out of the end zone, looking for some room to run, and we'll take it up to the 25. So decent starting field position for the Hotshots, and out comes John Wolford. And this is the quarterback that, you know, he really did not play great to start the season. He has turned it around the last couple weeks. On the season, he's thrown for 1,027 yards. 63% of his passes have been completed. He's thrown 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. QB rating of 90.2. I know those stats aren't absolutely incredible, but when you look at the stat lines from him the last couple of weeks compared to the first 3, they've been very much improved. He has been much more accurate with the football, especially last week. We saw them take a couple deep shots to Richard Mullaney and Freddie Martino. You know, big explosive plays, and that's something Rick Neuheisel said that they needed to integrate. They did it last week, and let's see what they do today against a solid Orlando defense. 1st and 10 from their own 25 to start. Off-play action, Wolford, quick pass to the sidelines. Man wide open is complete. Richard Mullaney for a gain of 21, and Arizona starts out this game nicely. And the interesting thing is the Hotshots have really put themselves back in playoff position, even though they've got San Diego and Salt Lake that are phenomenal teams. Sitting at 3-2, they pick up a big win on the road right here. They're 4-2, and definitely a big chance at trying to make a playoff push. Perfectly executed play to start off this drive, and Mullaney just wide open there on the out route, and I don't really know what Orlando's defense is doing there. 1st and 10 now from the 46. Great first play to start this drive. On the ground, Jarrell Presley gets the carry. I'll take it to 47. Let's take a look at this Arizona offense. A team that has a lot of weapons. You got Jarrell Presley, just got the carry there. Got 294 yards in the season, averaging 4.7 yards per carry, and he's got 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, look at the wide receivers. They have not been, you know, maybe leading the charts, but they've got some weapons there as well. Richard Mullaney had a huge week last week. He's got 270 yards on the season. Rashad Ross getting up there with 252. Gerald Christian, the tight end, 243 yards receiving and two touchdowns. He's been a big part of that offense. 2nd and 9 now from the 47. It's Presley again to the outside. He's got room to run. Takes it inside Orlando territory, taking out the 48. Take a look at this Apollo's defense, and this is a defense that has struggled the last couple of weeks. Birmingham and Salt Lake, the last couple of weeks, they really ran and threw all over this defense. They've got to get it together. They've got a lot of weapons. They've got to find a way to put it together. Will Hill, one of the leaders on that defense, is in the safety position. He's got to step up and make some plays today and get this team back into a rhythm. I mean, they're 2-3. They're supposed to be one of the better teams in this league, and right now they're in the thick of it with Atlanta and Birmingham trying to get that playoff spot here in week 6. Big game at home against Arizona. Huge 3rd and 5 right now. What's Arizona going to come up with here? Wolford to throw. Quick pass to the outside. It's hauled in by Ross, but he's going to be short of the 1st down. Great open field tackle there. Marquez White. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Rashad Ross and Marquez White, a couple of the best players in this league. And Ross just short of the sticks, and looks like Orlando will have forced a punt, and that's disappointing for Arizona. They had a nice drive going. It's going to stall out inside Orlando territory at the 45, 4th and 2, and probably expect to see them bring out the punt team. And they're going to go for it. Early on in the game, they've decided to keep out the offense on the field, and let's see what they come up with. 4th and 1 from the 45. Wolford to throw. Quick pass to the outside, and is dropped. Rashad Ross could not turn around in time, and Orlando takes over with the football. That's a gutsy call from Rick Neuheisel to start off this game, and Orlando forces a turnover on downs, and Neuheisel, I don't think that maybe was the exact play that he dialed up there in 4th and 1. I gotta be honest, I know the play call didn't work, but I do like the call. You're 3 and 2. You're in a division with San Diego, who's 4 and 1, and Salt Lake, who's 5 and 1. You need to win. It doesn't matter that you're over 500. You're still out of the playoffs, so it's not a bad call. Now we're gonna look at Garrett Gilbert, who's right now leading the league with his QB ratings, thrown for 1,057 yards. His completion percentage is 74.8%. Thrown 10 touchdowns through 4 interceptions, though. 113.7 QB rating despite all of that. So we'll see what he can do today against an Arizona defense that has really stepped it up the last couple of weeks. They have created turnovers and big plays. See what Gilbert has up his sleeve today. 1st and 10 from their own 45 is a high snap. Johnson gets the carry with a big hole. Dearness Johnson to the 50. That's a gain of about 5 or 6 on their first play from scrimmage. And, Steve Spurrier, we talked about it. Orlando has got to find a way to get this team back into a rhythm offensively. They have really been off since week 4 against Salt Lake. Haven't found a way to get into that dominant offensive position that they were in the first couple of weeks. 2nd and 4 now from the 50. Gilbert going to try to take it himself, and it goes absolutely nowhere. We've seen them run that RPO a couple times this season. It's worked a few times. That time it absolutely does not. Steven Johnson, one of the leaders on that Arizona defense, comes around unblocked and makes a huge play on Gilbert. And just like that, Arizona is going to force a big 3rd and 8. I'm not a big fan of that play call right there. Arizona's bringing a blitz. And now you lost 4 on a manageable 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 turns into 3rd and 8. Back to throw is Gilbert. Plenty of time. He's got to get rid of it. And he's going to be taken down for the sack. Steven Johnson, who just had the play earlier, now gets a sack, and Orlando's offense has a quick 3 and out despite the excellent field position. That's not the way Orlando wanted to start this game, and it goes to show that Garrett Gilbert is not the quarterback that he was to start this season. On the game's first drive, just had a turnover on downs. You're trying to get some momentum there offensively, and that's just not what you want to see from your offense if you're a fan of the Apollos, and they end up going backwards. Johnson set him up nicely, and now Ben Turk coming on. He's going to have to punt it away. Booting it away from about his own 30. Back to receivers, Rashad Ross, but he'll let it bounce, and it'll take a nice bounce for the Apollos. That'll be down at the 7. Great punt. Special teams, one of the only things that Orlando's doing well so far in this game, and let's see what they can do now defensively after they got the stop. After a nice-looking drive from the Hotshots. We'll see what Arizona can respond with here offensively, though. We know that this offense has really been clicking the last couple weeks. They have been finding a way to put the ball in the end zone, something that they really struggled to do the first 3 weeks. They scored 30 points, and then last week they put up 18, but they had quite a few nice marches. So see what they can do. 1st and 10 now from the 7. Back to throw is Wolford on 1st down. Quick pass across the middle. It's complete. That's Freddie Martino. 15-yard completion up to the 22 in Arizona. Another nice play there. Freddie Martino, he's been involved a lot with this offense the last couple of weeks. And, last week had a big performance. He had that 62-yard catch, which set up a score for them. And trying to get his stats from last week, he had 5 catches for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. The dude balled out, and I'm sure he's looking to have another big day today. Also, Richard Mullaney, who had the big catch earlier, 5 catches for 141 yards last week. against San Antonio. 1st and 10 from the 22. They go on the ground. It's Presley. He finds a way to squeeze through and takes it to 29. That's a gain of 7. And Arizona moving the chains. Well, that wasn't a first down, but moving the ball, I should have said. 2nd and 4 coming up from the 29. You know, Rick Neuheisel, back when they had that loss in Week 3 to Salt Lake, it was such a crushing loss because, of course, in Week 1 they were blown out, 38-6. The week after that, they had a good thing going. They just couldn't close out that game. And since then, they've really made a statement with their offense, and that's a nice completion there to Christian. That's another first down. That's a gain of 10 up to the 39. Anyways, what I was saying was Rick Neuheisel was talking about how our offense needs to start coming out and making statements. We can't settle for field goals or punts. And they've done a really good job of making statements early on in games the past couple weeks. Still early on in this first quarter. 1st and 10 from 39. Quick pass from Wolford, and he's going to miss Connor Hamlet going towards the sidelines. Can bring up 2nd and 10. And Wolford, again, he's someone that has shown tremendous growth over the past couple weeks. And I know he had a couple interceptions against Atlanta in that 30-24 win. But despite that, he put the Hotshots in a 24-0 lead, and it allowed him to get a big win against Atlanta, and since then they've really been putting it together. And there is finally a big play by Orlando's defense. Presley gets knocked down in the backfield by Reggie Northrup, one of those linebackers on the Apollos that we know can make some big plays. Steps up and makes a big one right there. Presley trying to bounce to the outside, and Northrup does a great job of evading the block, kind of just spinning away and making a big-time tackle. It's going to bring out a big 3rd and 13 for the Hotshots. And, you know, in this sort of position, if in Week 1 or even Week 2 when they beat Memphis, Arizona really struggled on these long 3rd downs. They made improvements the last couple weeks. Let's see what they can do here. 3rd and 13 from the 37. What's the play call going to be from Rick Neuheisel? Wolford will throw with time, but he's got to let it go. He will. Deep down the field, and it's overthrown. Incomplete. So Arizona will be forced to punt. It's a good defensive stand from Orlando. Couple big chunk plays from the Hotshots, and that's the second drive now where Arizona's had a few nice chunk plays, 15, 20 yards, and then a couple nice runs for a few yards, but it's a nice stand from Orlando. Big tackle from Reggie Northrup. They forced an incompletion, and Jeff Locke now has to come on to punt it away for the first time today. He'll boot it away. Back to receive is Jalen Marshall. He'll let it bounce. Will Arizona get a bounce? Yes, they will. And just like that, Orlando's going to have to start from their own 7 as well. How about that? So 2 excellent punts from both sides. Ben Turk with the first one, and right there, Jeff Locke with the beauty. And the Apollo's going to have to start from their own 7. Garrett Gilbert coming back out. He did not look very good in that first drive. You just got to be honest. I mean, he hasn't looked like the same quarterback he did for a couple weeks. After that Salt Lake game where he threw 3 interceptions, it's been a disaster for him, and he didn't play a bad game last week against Birmingham, but it just wasn't enough to win, and they needed that win against Birmingham. They didn't get it, and now they got to try to fight for one against Arizona here to keep playoff hopes alive, which who would have thought at Week 6 we'd be saying that. 1st and 10, Gilbert backing up, drops it off quick underneath. It's a nice grab. Is that Johnson? Yeah, that is Johnson. Takes it up to the 10 and missed block right there. That's a big missed opportunity for Orlando. Gilbert at least gets it out of his hands. But if you look at those offensive linemen pulling out, one of them could have easily blocked that hot shot coming in for the tackle. They do not. That could have been a play that broke loose. 2nd and 7 now from their own 10. And this time Gilbert's going to have some room there on the option. Breaking tackles, and he'll take it up to 27. It's a gain of 17 on the play. How about that? So the first time they tried to run that, it did not work very well. But this time, Gilbert pulls it down and finds an angle. And this is the funny thing. Gilbert, he is not your typical runner as a quarterback. He's more of a pocket passer, but Steve Spurrier likes to call this play, and he sticks with it despite it going for -4 yards on the first attempt. Picks up 17 there. 1st and 10 now from the 27. Can the Apollos start putting together a drive? Back to throw is Gilbert. Going deep down the field. He's got a man and is holding down the sidelines. That's Charles Johnson to the Hotshots 40. And there's a big passing play that we've been waiting to see for so long from these Apollos. Charles Johnson, one of his go-to receivers, Comes down with the big catch, and this is what we've been, like, where was this against Salt Lake, and even last week against Birmingham? Where were these kinds of plays? That's a beautiful pass, dropped right in the bucket. And Johnson able to hang on, and we saw Johnson, he's had a couple uncharacteristic drops this season, but he comes up with a big catch there. And on the season, he's got 286 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that's a big one right there. Pushes him to over 300 now. 1st and 10 from the 40. They go on the ground, it's Johnson running into his own men and barely gets back to the line. Definitely, that play had potential, and he should have cut to the left right there. He would have had a gain of at least a few yards. 2nd and 10 coming up as the first quarter winds down. See if we get another play. You know, with all the weapons Orlando has on an offense, between Jalen Marshall, Charles Johnson, Sean Price, Scott Orndorff, they have a lot of weapons, and they've got to find a way to put it together. That'll take us to the end of the first quarter. It is still a 0-0 game here in Orlando, but the hometown Apollos putting together a drive. And we'll see if they can cap it off with a score. Arizona had a couple decent drives going, but unable to come up with any points. So Orlando with an opportunity here to take the lead. And again, this is such a big game for both of these teams. You've got the Hotshots 3-2. They're not in the playoffs. Orlando's 2-3. Technically, they still have the 2nd seed right now. A win here would solidify that for at least another week, because they do have the win over Atlanta. What they can't afford to happen here is a loss, and then Atlanta wins. 2nd and 10 now from the 40. They go on the ground. It's Johnson running through tacklers and takes it to 36. That's a gain of about 4 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 6. So they go on the ground again, and now we'll see what the Apollos can do through the air, unless they do decide to run it. But I'd expect to see Spurrier let Gilbert try to sling it down the field. 3rd and 6. This is a big 3rd down that Orlando needs to convert, because you're just outside of field goal range. These kickers have been really bad from plus 50 this season. They got to convert. Back to throw is Gilbert. Got time. Wide open, it's Charles Johnson. He takes it inside the 20 to the 18. And there's a big time completion again. Johnson with 51 yards receiving on this drive alone. And he just gets wide open. This is just blown coverage from the Hotshots. They drop out into a zone set. No one's covering across the middle, and Johnson's just able to come underneath the safety but over the linebacker, and it's a perfect throw again from Gilbert. This Apollo's offense finding some life. 1st and 10 from the 18. You know, something that they've struggled with, again, is having to settle for field goals inside the red zone. Let's see if they can punch in with a touchdown here. It's Johnson on the ground with a big hole, and Johnson down to the 8. Brings up 2nd and 1, 2nd and inches sort of scenario. Orlando making things happen, and we know how potent and how effective this offense can be. They've had 3 horrible losses this season. Granted, they should have beat San Antonio, but still, there's no excuse. They got to put together a touchdown drive right here, right now. 2nd and 1, he motions Johnson out of the backfield, and Gilbert to throw with time, and that is knocked away. Excellent defense. That's the first incompletion for Garrett Gilbert. I think that was Kieran Williams coming up over the top, the safety, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 1. Big 3rd and 1 from the 8. Something that we just talked about. Orlando has really struggled throughout this season to get touchdowns when they need to. We saw that haunt them against San Antonio, against Birmingham, almost against Memphis too, even though they won that game. See what they can do. He will motion Johnson on the backfield. They'll be passing this one. 3rd and 1. Gilbert to pass. Arizona brings a blitz. Quick pass. It's caught across the middle. It's a 1st down. Sets him up 1st and goal at the 1. That's Jalen Marshall who comes down with it. And Marshall, he's been a big part of this offense as well. One of the standout wide receivers. He scored the first AAF Simulated touchdown. And on the season, he's got 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. He had a touchdown in every single game up until last week. And just gets to the 1 here. We'll want to maybe start up that streak again if he can. 1st and goal from the 1, and here is where Orlando just needs to punch it in. They got momentum. Let's see if they can make it happen. 1st and goal from the 1. What is Spurrier going to call? Johnson in motion. He gets it around the edge. Tries to make a move, but he's going to lose a lot of yardage. What a tackle. Raheem Moore, the safety, comes in and makes a big play. It's going to set up 2nd and goal from the 3. And that's not a very good play to have on 1st and goal if you're the Apollos. And this is something, again, I know they converted on that last play, but they just have a hard time when they get in the red zone of just having a nice big explosive touchdown. Like, they got to either work for it really hard or they have to settle for a really short field goal. And C's players got to just find the right play calls down here to make it happen. On the ground, it's Johnson again, and he's not going to get there. Gets to the 2. Actually, that was Akeem Hunt, excuse me. 3rd and goal from the 2. Arizona one more play away from getting a big red zone stop. 3rd and goal from the 2. What are they going to do? To be honest, I really think that they should go to the air. Arizona has been bringing a lot of pressure. Just nice quick slants or something like that. Let Gilbert get this ball out quickly. They go on the ground. Johnson, and he's in. Touchdown Orlando. He finds the hole and is able to score. What a big time play for the Apollos, and they're up 6-0. Dearness Johnson, who after week 5 was leading the league with 395 yards, averaging 5.1 yards a carry. That's his 3rd touchdown of the season now. He's been making a big impact on this Orlando offense, and that's a big touchdown to put Orlando on top 6-0. For the 2-point try, can Orlando, who has struggled with these 2 points quite a bit this season, can they make it an 8-point game? Gilbert will throw, has to let it go quick, he will, and it's hauled in by Johnson. The 2-point conversion is good, and Orlando with an 8-0 lead here at home against the Arizona Hotshots. You know, stuff like that you love to see. This Orlando crowd is going crazy, and it's about time that they were able to find the end zone. It's something that they've got to start doing more consistently with all the weapons that they have offensively. It's just a matter of time before they find the end zone. Something, again, they've got to become consistent doing that. And now Arizona's got to come up with a response. You know, the last couple of weeks, they've been ahead. They were up 24-0 against Atlanta. They were up 15-0 against San Antonio. Now down 8-0. This is the first deficit they've had in 2 weeks. See what they can make of it. On the return, it's Stockton, and he'll take it. He lost the football, and that's picked up. And Ladarius Gunner is going to take it to the house. We'll see if it stands, but as it stands right now, Orlando just piled on some more points. And Stockton, it's hard to tell if that ball comes out, and I'm pretty sure that's Gunner taking it to the house. Let's get a better look at it right here. Cody Riggs. Ooh, that ball, he's down. Justin Stockton is going to be ruled down by contact. This should certainly... Oh, that was Keith Reeser, excuse me. I knew it wasn't Ladarius Gunner. I just didn't know who it was. This should go to a booth review. And it is. And after the one angle that we just saw, I mean, that clearly looked...
Previous play is under review.
Clearly looked like Stockton hit the ground before that. It's... A ground cannot force a fumble. And right here... Yeah, he's elbows down. He's down by contact. This should be overturned. And it has been overturned as it should have been.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So Orlando crowd not happy with it, but that's the right call. They got it right. And Rick Neuheisel was smart to make sure the rest review that, and they did. And Arizona is now going to take over the 24. That's huge. I mean, they could have easily been down by a couple scores right there, but thankfully for them, Stockton was down. On the ground, Presley finding a lane. It'll take it up to the 28. That's a gain of 4. Arizona plenty of time. You know, we've seen this team go through so much adversity this season. You know, the funny thing, their only 2 losses have been against the Salt Lake Stallions. So Orlando will be the first team outside of the Stallions to beat them if they can hang on to a lead and ultimately win this game. Outside of the Stallions, the Hotshots have been playing some dang good football. 2nd and 7 now from the 28. On the ground is Presley again. Finding lane, bouncing to the outside, and what a tackle by Terrence Garvin. That might have just been a score-saving tackle right there. If Garvin didn't get in there to make the play, there was a good chance that Presley was going to break loose. And he had a 69-yard touchdown against Memphis back in week 2. He's had a couple big runs. Big 3rd and 4 right now for the Hotshots at their own 30. Richard Mulaney in motion. Back to throw is Wolford. With time, quick pass. It's caught underneath, and does he have enough? Presley is going to come up just short. Azim Victor on the tackle. And this is a really, really close one. He's got to get to the 34 of the sticks, and they mark him down right at the 34. See, right here, it looks like he had a chance to get there, but Victor bodies him. That's a big tackle, and will they leave the offense out on the field? 4th and inches. Probably at this point in the game, they should punt it, and they will. Jeff Locke, the punter. Man, look at this ball placement right there is awfully close. Locke to punt it away. Back to receive is Jalen Marshall from his own 10, and he'll be ripped down immediately at the 14. So Orlando will take over with the football, but a lot of work to do with under 4 minutes of play. Dearness Johnson, maybe not having the flashiest game when it comes to yards, but he was finally able to punch it in. Orlando's got an 8-0 lead, and let's see what they can do here. You know, at home, this is a massive game for them to try to get back to the 500 mark and get some momentum to play against Atlanta next week, who they already beat. But if they want to make a playoff push, they're going to have to beat them again. 1st and 10 from their own 14. 3 timeouts and 3:56 to play. Plenty of time for the Apollos to make something happen. On the ground, they give it to Johnson. Trying to find a lane, taking down the 18. That's a gain of about 4 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 6. And Arizona's defense, if they want to get their team back into this, they're going to have to come up with a big play. A turnover, a big sack, something that gives their team some momentum. Because right now the Apollos are commanding this second quarter. Off play action, and Gilbert's going to take it himself again. With some room to run, and he takes it to 27. That's a nice gain of 9 on the play, and it's a 1st down for the Apollos. You know, we've seen Gilbert do this a couple times now today, and C. Spurrier is not afraid to call this play. You know, he's taking a risk. We saw it go for -4 yards in the first attempt of this game, but since then, he's put up, like, what, 30 yards on the ground? 1st and 10. Coming up from the 27. We're under the 3-minute mark now, though, so Orlando's going to have to do something else besides run the football if they want to get some points. And they will run it. It's Akeem Hunt who finds a lane, and Akeem Hunt with a 1st down to the 39. Another nice run. Hunt coming in for Johnson, and this just goes to show the depth of Orlando's offense. You got Akeem Hunt, also Devion Smith, who really hasn't gotten many carries today, which unfortunately Madden doesn't really do a good job of incorporating 3 running backs. But Akeem Hunt's been able to do a good job of coming in and making some big plays when his name is called. Time is running, though. I don't know if Orlando will get another playoff here before the 2-minute warning. They should, but I don't. Yeah, they will not. 2 minutes to play in this first half. Orlando with an 8-0 lead here with the football at the 39. 2 minutes, 3 timeouts, and right about now it could go either way. They could have a couple big plays and score, or they'll have a nice march but end up not coming away with points because, again, Madden does not do a good job managing time. So we'll see what happens. Orlando, though, in a good position to make something happen. Back to throw is Gilbert. Quick pass to the sidelines. It's complete. That's Charles Johnson again to the 46, and Johnson really playing a big role in this offense's success so far in this first half, especially the second quarter. Nice quick pass to the sidelines, gets out of bounds, stops the clock, and now at the 46, Orlando can, maybe take a deep shot here. 2nd and 3. All receivers spread wide. Let's see what the play call is. Gilbert to throw. Quick pass, and it's complete. That's Johnson again down the seam to the 37. That's a pickup of about 23. Man, Orlando is just thrown all over this hotshot defense right now. It's almost reminiscent of what Josh Woodrum was able to do against them, the Salt Lake Stallions quarterback. And look at this. It's just unfair match. Scooby Wright is one of the best, if not the best, linebacker in this league. No disrespect to him, but that's an unfair match. He cannot be covering Charles Johnson one-on-one. That's a miscommunication defensively, and it cost him a big-time play right there. 1st and 10 from the 37. Gilbert to throw again. Quick pass. That's complete. Dearness Johnson to the 33, and not the best pickup there. Time is still running. A lot of time is going to be taken off of the clock for a very minimal gain. Orlando's got to keep moving here from the 33. Man, I gotta say, it is frustrating how much time these simulations waste. Not very realistic. 2nd and 7. Back to throw. And that's just a horrible pass from Gilbert. Only his 2nd incompletion of the day, but it's going to bring up 3rd and 7 now from the 33. And honestly, if you're Orlando in this situation, you got to hope for a quick pass here that gets about 4 or 5 yards. Sets up like a 45, 46-yard field goal attempt and just kicking a field goal. Because, I don't know, if they get a first down here, there's a good chance that they might not score. Back to throw is Gilbert. All day to throw. Quick pass, and it's knocked away. What a play, crashing in Robert Nelson, the cornerback. So now it's going to be a tough 50-yard try for Elliott Fry, who has missed a couple field goals this season. And this is a pass that Charles Johnson has to make. I know a catch, excuse me, that he has to make. And you know, it's a hard hit. Nelson comes right in there and makes a nice play. But a 4th and 1 is now a 4th and 7, and Elliott Fry is gonna have a difficult time knocking through this field goal. We'll see. See what you can do from 50 yards to make it an 11-0 Orlando lead. The kick is on its way, and it is through. 50-yarder, Elliott Fry. Well, I was wrong. He absolutely crushed that one from 50, and it's an 11-0 game. Big time shot. Right down the middle. And Orlando's got an 11-0 lead here with under a minute to play. So the Hotshots with a little bit of time left and 3 timeouts. But, I mean, we'll see if that gives them something. Orlando's going to get the ball for half. So the Hotshots kind of in a dangerous situation here offensively. And what's disappointing for them is that they haven't had really bad drives. Just had a couple things not go their way. And they're still scoreless here with only 56 seconds left to play in this first half. On the return is Justin Stockton. And looking for a blocker, we smash the 26. Good open field tackle by Ryan Green. And I apologize for the noise. I'm in a very busy house with a lot of people. 1st and 10 now from the 26 coming up for the Hotshots with only 53 seconds left. Let's see what Rick Neuheisel tries to come up with offensively. Got a lot of ground to cover here with not much time at all. Back to throw is Wolford. He's got time, gotta let it go. And it's a quick pass, and Gerald Christian gets around him and takes it to the 39. They have to use a timeout. So the tight end makes a move. But honestly, that was a great move. But he's got to get out of bounds. 13 yards. Almost would be better if it was more like 9 or 10 and he was able to get out of bounds, because that would have saved him a timeout. 1st and 10 coming up from the 39. Again, the Hotshots make something happen here. Wolford will throw. And just has to check it outside again. That's pretty much the same play. Only goes for about a yard. And it's not a very good sign for the receivers right now. That's 2 plays in a row that Wolford's had to check down to the same man. At least that time he gets out of bounds, but it's only a pickup of 1. You got 40 seconds left from your own 40. Back to throw is Wolford. And again, the same exact play. I don't know why. These receivers have got to find a way to get open down the field with only 35 seconds left in this first half. 3rd and 8 from their own 41. Orlando has dominated this second quarter, and they're going to get it for the second half. Arizona needs to find a way to score here if they want a shot at this football game. They've won 2 in a row, and they do not want to break that winning streak. 3rd and 8. Wolford will throw. Orlando brings a big blitz. Wolford will go deep down this field and is knocked away. Not even a chance. Looking for Rashad Ross, and the big play not there. Jeff Long's going to have to come out again to punt it for the Hotshots. And this is pretty disappointing for Arizona because the first couple of drives, they've had some nice chunk yardage gains. They're moving the ball well, but just weren't able to put points on the board. And now they're finding themselves in an 11-0 deficit, and they're not even getting the ball for the half. Locke will punt it away. Back to receive is Jalen Marshall. And this could be a good bounce for Arizona. It is. Down to the 9. Only 21 seconds for the Apollo. So with an 11-0 lead, at this point you probably just want to play it safe. Let it go to half because you're going to get the ball. We'll see what Garrett Gilbert and the Apollos have in store for us, but I'd expect it to be relatively conservative. But hey, this has been a great second quarter for the Apollos to put up 11 points. Janoris Johnson with a touchdown run, and they march down. Elliott Fry knocks through a 50-yard field goal. And the Apollos offense looking a lot better than it has the last couple of weeks. We'll see if they can keep it up. At 2-3 on the season, they need to get a win here to get back to that 500 mark. And so far in this first half, they're looking like they can get a win. Sean Price in motion. They're going to the ground to Johnson. Trying to find a lane, taking down to 13, and that'll probably take us to halftime. Sean Price at tight end. He has played absolutely outstanding this season, and I'm surprised that he hasn't been involved yet. He's got 241 yards and 3 touchdowns, but on the day, nothing for him, and that'll take us to halftime. The Orlando Apollos with an 11-0 lead over the Arizona Hotshots here at home in a big Week 6 matchup. Arizona 3-2, but they're not in the playoffs because of San Diego and Salt Lake. Orlando 2-3, and they're barely clinging to the second seed. They've got to win here to maintain that. Garrett Gilbert, this was an absolute dime to Charles Johnson down the sideline. Set up a nice score to Dearness Johnson. Now we welcome you back to Orlando. 11-0 lead for the Apollos. They will get the ball for half. Start this third quarter. And Steve Spurrier has got to be pretty pleased with the way his offense looked, especially in that second quarter. They got out of the funk and found a way to make it happen. And this is where Arizona's defense is going to have to step up and make some turnovers. You know, week 4 against Atlanta, they forced quite a few turnovers. Last week against San Antonio, they did the same thing, so they want a chance at this game. They're going to need to make something happen. On the return, it's Akeem Hunt. Makes a move and cuts it up to the 29, and that's where the Apollos offense will start with the football on a nice 11-0 lead here from the 29. And, you know, Garrett Gilbert, pre-game, talking about how important of a game this was for their team, going up against, you know, a Hotshots team that has been on a roll. They've won 2 in a row. They're 3-2. They're looking pretty dang good. But so far, Orlando has come out and shown that they are a team with a lot of grit and a lot of talent. And it is surprising that they're 2-3 on the season with how much talent this team has. And, you know, all they need is a win or two, and they can turn the season around, get back on track, and definitely make a playoff push. 1st and 10 from their own 29 to start this third quarter. Off-play action, Gilbert to throw. Going deep down the middle, is man wide open, it's Johnson again. And just like that, they're into Arizona territory at the 49. Big completion, and Charles Johnson having one heck of a day. He's just absolutely wide open across the middle again. I mean, I don't know how you can't account for someone as important to an offense as Charles Johnson. He's got to be covered. First and 10 coming up now from the Hotshots 49. That's not exactly what the defense had in mind. I highly doubt it. Expect to see them give a run to Johnson here up the right side. We'll see if Arizona's ready for it. That's my guess on what's coming next. And that's exactly what it is, and Arizona was ready for it. Good tackle. Johnson only gains about a yard, and he's averaging over 5 yards a carry on the season, but so far today, just above 3. So, in that regard, the Hotshots have done a pretty good job of keeping Johnson relatively contained. Question is, can they contain the other Johnson, Charles? 2nd and 8 now from the 48. Oh, man. in the backfield. That's Rakeem Yates in there on the stop. Actually, no, that's Pele Anu. Excuse me. That's a loss of 4. What a play by the defensive lineman. Johnson didn't have a chance, and that's just a missed block. Look, there's no communication there offensively. No one picks up the block. I mean, Arizona only rushed 4, and they forced a 4-yard loss on a run play. That's not good for Orlando, and now a big 3rd and 12. What can the Apollos do here to try to convert? I mean, they had a nice drive going with that big completion to Charles Johnson. What's the play call going to be from Spurrier? Gilbert will throw with all day. We'll go deep, and it's overthrown. Looking in the direction of Jalen Marshall, and Orlando will have to punt. The big stop for the Hotshots. What a tight window to put it in, but that's a throw that Gilbert's got to make in that sort of situation if you want to keep some sort of momentum, because now Arizona is going to take over the football, and they march down, they score, they're right back in this game. Ben Turk to punt it away for the 2nd time today. The only positive thing for Steve Spurrier to think about right now, and this punt is shanked. That only goes 25 yards. That's a bad punt from Turk. They had a golden opportunity to pin him deep, and they do not. But anyways, Orlando's first drive started with a 3-and-out, so maybe the first drive of the half's just not their good drives. We'll see. But Arizona's offense back out there, and let's see what John Wolford and company can come up with. You know, Jarrell Presley, I think they've got to get him more involved, because again, every single game that the Hotshots have won, Jarrell Presley has been involved in it in some way, shape, or form. And so far today, he hasn't done a whole lot. You know, we see week 2 against Memphis, he had 79 yards and a touchdown. Week 4 against Atlanta, he had 59 yards. And then against San Antonio. And there's Presley, but he goes nowhere. He's only got 11 yards today. What a tackle in the backfield by that Orlando defense. That's Will Hill stepping up and making a big tackle. He just comes in on the safety blitz, and it's just an excellent play by him, and Leon Orr is able to get in there to kind of finish it off. But anyway, yeah, against San Antonio, he had 44 yards on the day, so not a lot of yards, but he was averaging 4 to 5 yards a carry in both of those games, and that's something that they've got to get going here. 2nd and 13 now from their own 23. Wolford will throw, and heavy pressure, and he's going to be taken down. Trying to set up the screen, but Anthony Moten's able to get in there for the play. Gonna set up a 3rd and 22. It's Orlando defense stepping up, making some big plays. Wolford takes a shot, and that sort of play, you just got to get rid of that ball. I mean, he's loading up to throw it. Just get rid of it. Even if it's incomplete, it's better than taking a sack. And it's an RB screen too, so you don't even have to worry about intentional grounding. Just throw it close to the running back. You're fine. Now, 3rd and 22. The Hotshots up against it here from their own 14. Wolford will throw. He's got to find a way to get rid of this football. He's going to air it out deep down the field, and it is knocked up and incomplete. Finally got rid of it, but could not find Frenny Martino with a host of Orlando Apollos around him. It's a disappointing 3-and-out to have for the Hotshots. They get the stop, but offensively can't get it going. You know, Martino's got a chance at that football. Just unable to hang on with the contact, and now Hotshots defense going to have to go out there and try to make another stop. See what happens, but, you know, 6:25 to play in the 3rd quarter. Orlando gets another score. It's going to start getting to the point where Arizona, they're going to need to do something. Jeff Locke will boot it away once again. Jalen Marshall to receive. It's a good punt. What a move by Marshall. Cuts it upfield and takes it to the 45. So good starting field position for the Apollos. Let's see what they can make of it. You know, again, we talked about the schedules coming up for these teams, but I want to take a look at Orlando's because it's so important for them to get a win here because they at least improve to 3-3 if they win. Then they're at Atlanta and at Memphis. 2 games that could go either way. They really, really need the Atlanta game. Memphis won not so much, so at least if they win these two and lose to Memphis, they're 4-4, but they've got the couple wins over Atlanta that will really solidify them a playoff spot. And then down the stretch, they've got San Diego and Birmingham. So, you know, every game is a must-win for Orlando at this point. 1st and 10. Quick pass across the middle. It's complete. To the 44. There's Sean Price, the tight end. Finally gets involved. That's a gain of 11 to start this drive. And it is perfectly executed play. Quick slant across the middle. It's just simple plays like that that get your team going. Get them in a groove. And Sean Price just nice and open. It's simply done. Arizona, on the other hand, they're 3-2. If they can find a way to come back and win this game, they play San Diego next week, and that would be a chance for them to take over San Diego in the playoff race. So a lot on the line for both of these teams. Back to throw with Gilbert. Quick pass, it's caught. That's Jalen Marshall inside the 40 to 39. Gilbert getting rid of the ball quickly, and it's working nicely to start out this drive. But yeah, so Hotshots here, they're on the road in Orlando, then they host San Diego, then at San Antonio. These are all big games in the stretch, and then they end in San Diego. That could very well be what decides the playoffs for either one of these teams. So, along the line, Gilbert going to try to take it himself, and he's going to lose yardage. Nice tackle on the outside. Once again, it's Pelianu who makes a nice tackle. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 6. And this time, this is the 4th time that they've run this play, and Arizona's ready for it. Big 3rd and 6, because right now, I said that they are certainly out of field goal range for Elliott Fry. If Arizona can get a stop, you know, this game is far from over, but if Orlando moves the chains, Marshalltown scores a touchdown while continuing to chew clock, it's going to make it a lot more difficult for Rick Neuheisel's Hotshots to make a comeback. 3rd and 6 from the 40. See what the play call is from Spurrier. Back to throw is Gilbert. He's pressured. He's going to have to let it go. Deep down the sidelines. Not able to make the catch. Marshall was... Actually, no, that's Chris Thompson who was open down the sidelines, but Gilbert leads him out of bounds. And, man, that's disappointing for... Yeah, he's out. And Thompson gets wide open there. That's a throw that Gilbert's got to make, and he does not, which, once again, will bring out Ben Turk and leave the door open for the Hotshots. They need to get a good bounce here, and wow, the special teams does a horrible job of covering that. The punt only goes for 20 net yards. And that was not a bad punt from Turk. They just got to get down there and down that football before it takes that bounce to the end zone. Terrible. So, hey, how about that? The Hotshots get it to 20. 4:05 to play in the 3rd quarter. They have plenty of time. And we know that this offense has a lot of weapons, just as Orlando does. So if John Wolford can start making a couple throws, get some guys in open space, Richard Mullaney, Rashad Ross, Freddie Martino, Gerald Christian, let's see what they can come up with. 1st and 10. Delayed give to Presley, and he's going to be taken down immediately. That's Reggie Northrup in there for the tackle, and Presley only 12 yards on 8 carries. It has just not been his day. You know, at this point in the game, I would just start getting away from the run. I don't know. They're just not finding a way to get Presley going. The offensive line not really giving him many lanes. They've just got to find a way to get the passing game going for Wolford. His receivers got to start getting open. 2nd and 9 from the 21. Back to throw is Wolford. Orlando brings a blitz. Quick pass. It's caught by Ross. Almost broke loose. Takes it to 29 and instead of a 3rd and 1. Rashad Ross, he is the speedster of that offense. You know, if he gets into open space, he's gone. And he was just one broken tackle away from scoring a touchdown on that one, I think. 3rd and 1. Huge 3rd down. The off-play action. Wolford's going to get lit up. Giorgio Newberry gets him at the 23. They go with play action and does not pay off. What a sack. 2nd of the day for Orlando. And, you know, the offense not getting the job done, but that defense sure as heck is. What a play from Newberry. Just gets right around the offensive lineman. And Wolford doesn't see it coming. He's lucky that he even held on to this football. It's going to force another punt for the Hotshots. And yeah, I mean, they are starting to run out of time. I know it's not the fourth quarter yet, but they're still down by 2 scores. And the defense is only going to shut down Orlando's offense for so long. Jeff Locke punts it away again. And on the return is Marshall, swung down to 26. So, plenty of time for anything to happen. Arizona, if they have a pick 6, hey, it's a ball game. But I just feel that the Apollo's offense is going to get things going here. It's been too long that they've been stagnant. You know, 2 drives in the second half that looked promising, and they just didn't finish them off with points. You know, again, something that this team has struggled with all season long, and they've got to correct it. They're lucky that the Hotshots still have 0 points on the board, because otherwise they would be losing this game, I think, if Arizona's offense was humming. 1st and 10 from the 26. Much more of a defensive game. What a play in the backfield. Johnson goes nowhere. That's a loss of 3. That's Will Sutton getting in the backfield and making a play, and they go with a delayed give to Johnson. It just doesn't work. And, you know, in that sort of situation, Gilbert sees Sutton breaking through. I would just pull the ball back and just try to throw it. 2nd and 13 now from the 23. Again, Arizona's defense making another stop. And Dearness Johnson, again, he's someone that's averaging over 5 yards a carry on the season. Not today. Breaks out of that tackle, but still snuffed out immediately. Raheem Moore finishes him off at the 25, and it's a big 3rd and 11 now for the Apollos. Man, this Arizona defense is legit. And after that Week 1 performance against Salt Lake, even in the game that they lost to Salt Lake in Week 3, they held them to 15 points. They have been a dang good defense. And it's a shame that their offense isn't stepping up. Blitz from Arizona, quick pass. It's caught by Sean Price, and he's taken down by Robert Nelson at the 30. Once again, the Hotshots forcing the punt. And, you know, as good as both these offenses have been, the defenses have been better today. Both sides have made plays to shut down drives and make things happen because their offense can't. Thankfully for Orlando's defense, they at least have 11 points, but we're getting really, really close to the fourth quarter. Arizona's going to need a big performance in the final period if they want a chance at coming out on top. Ben Turk, for the 3rd time this quarter, punts it away. Rashad Ross to receive. Tries to break away. Cannot. 1 second left in this 3rd quarter. Taking down the 20. Let's see what the Hotshots are made of. Rick Neuheisel's talked about how resilient this team has been going through adversity early on the season. He said, you know, Week 4 and 5, you really saw the true colors of the Hotshots. Here in Week 6, you know, it's been a different story. They're looking lackluster offensively, and they've got to find a way to put it together quickly. 1st and 10 from the 20. On the ground, it's Presley, and he'll burst forward for a gain of 7, and that's a smart play to run it there because it only takes up 1 second regardless. The Apollos with an 11-0 lead going into the 4th quarter. Can the Hotshots put together a drive and make something happen here? They've been shut out for 3 straight, which is surprising because, you know, the last couple weeks their offense has been humming, but not today. They've had a couple nice drives. They made some big plays, but haven't found a way to get points on the board, and obviously you can't win a game without scoring points. It's a nice run from Presley for a gain of 7. Let's see what they can do now on 2nd and 3. Back to throw is Wolford. Quick pass, and it's picked off! Intercepted by Ladarius Gunner, and he's going to go all the way to the house. Touchdown, Apollos. What a play from that defense. It's a pick 6. Gunner takes it the distance, and John Wolford throws his 6th interception of the season, and that might just kind of do him in for this one. What a play from Gunner, who just reads it all the way. Gets a nice jump on that football. A pass intended for Freddie Martino. Makes a nice catch, and the rest is history. Huge play for the Apollos that needed some spark, because their offense was dead in the water this half. Arizona had a huge opportunity to get back in this game, but it's a pick six from Gunner, and now Orlando looking to extend their lead to 19. 2-point try coming up. Gilbert to throw. Fade to the back of the end zone. It's overthrown. Oh my god. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, these Madden graphics are too funny sometimes. You know, you think that with all the years that Madden has been worked on by developers, you'd think that some of these weird glitches wouldn't exist, but hey, they're funny. 17-0 lead. Orlando up by 3 scores, which is big because they're up by 3 scores here in the Alliance. You know, 2-point conversions, everything's a little bit different, but 17 points is still a 3-score game, because 2 touchdowns with 2-point conversions only give you 16. Elliott Fry hit a 50-yarder earlier. It's a big field goal, because now they're up by 3 points. 3 scores. Justin Stockton takes the knee. So we just talked about how Arizona's offense needed a big fourth quarter, and the first play of the fourth quarter was a pick six. And John Wolford, he was great last week. Didn't turn over the ball once. You know, played a really efficient game, but today, it's not been the same story. He has really struggled, and that interception right there might have just put the nail in the coffin. And the defense was doing such a good job of shutting down Orlando, and that's just a pick six that Wolford cannot afford to throw. 1st and 10 now from their own 25. Wolford to pass with time. Just had to check it outside, and it's only a gain of about 2 to Gerald Christian. John Wolford's stats today: 10 to 16, 79 yards, and an interception. Those are just not good stats, and it's disappointing because the last couple weeks he's really improved. Last week against San Antonio, he had by far the best performance of his Alliance career with a 137.5 QB rating, 362 yards, but today, only 79. 2nd and 8. Wolford to pass. He's going to go deep down the field. Man wide open, it's complete. Jarrell Presley, the running back, and that's a big chunk yardage play. Wolford finally to 100 yards on the day, and the Hotshots finally put something together. Presley just comes out of the backfield. He's just wide open down the seam. There's no defense in sight. You know, it makes you wonder, where have plays like this been from the Hotshots in the first 3 quarters? You know, they put together a couple decent drives, but just weren't able to get some 3rd down conversions. Coming back to haunt them right now. Under 9 minutes to play, down 17-0. They need something to happen quickly. From their own 48. It's a nice play of about 26 yards. Back to throw is Wolford. Going to the sidelines. It's caught. Hauled in by Rashad Ross at the 43. And they are into Orlando territory for just the 2nd time today. Marquez White has done a really good job of shutting down Rashad Ross. Someone that, you know, is speedster there. White's won that battle so far. 2nd and 1 now from the 43. Wolford to throw. Orlando brings a blitz. Going deep down the field. Man wide open. It's hauled in. And hey, on cue, it's Rashad Ross. Just as we talked about the fact that Marquez White was winning a battle, Ross, it's almost like he heard me up in the booth. Makes a 31-yard catch. And this is a contested ball. He's getting hit, but able to come down with it. What a grab from White. Excuse me. What a grab from Ross. And sets him up in the red zone for the first time today. They need a quick score. Can they get it? First and 10 from the 12. Nearing 7 minutes on the clock. They go on the ground. Presley taken down at the 11. 10 carries, just 20 yards. Both these running games have just really struggled to get going, but Orlando has been the team that's been able to make the points appear on the scoreboard. 2nd and 9, we're under 7 minutes, and Arizona really starting to run out of time. And they go on the ground again. This time to Tim Cook, and actually no, it's Justin Stockton, but he's going to get a face mask. And that's just a stupid penalty to have right there. That's Mark Myers, the safety. And that sets him up now. First and goal with the 5 and stops the clock. Justin Stockton, I'm pretty sure he would have been tackled. I'm talking a bit of smack, and he should be. You know, the third string running back, he returns the kicks, doesn't really get involved too much. But that's a big play from Stockton drawing the face mask, because now it sets him up. First and goal from the 5. And 6:33 to play. This game is almost over, but not quite. See what the play call is here from Neuheisel. Under 6.5 to play. Wolford will throw. Going to the end zone. Man wide open. It's complete. Rashad Ross with his first touchdown of the season. It took him 6 weeks, but he finally found the end zone. And, man, I spoke too soon. Marquez White certainly not winning the battle right now. 31-yard reception now sets up a 5-yard score. And the Hotshots find the end zone for the first time today. It's 17-6. 2-point try coming up. It's a big one. Can they convert? Wolford will throw. Quick pass. Knocked away and incomplete. Martino had a shot at it off of the deflection. Won't get it. So it stays a 17-6 ball game with 6:21 to play. Arizona is going to need a quick defensive stop if they still want to have a chance at this one. It's a nice play by Azim Victor. You know, he's quietly been one of the better linebackers in this league. Doesn't get a lot of attention. He's made some nice plays throughout the course of these several weeks of football. It's a big one right there. Because now Arizona, to get a touch, they need a touchdown with a 2 and a field goal, just to tie it. Well, we'll see what happens. So Orlando still commanding this football game, up by 11. And you think, you know, if Wolver doesn't throw that pick 6, this is a much more manageable ball game. Big return from Akeem Hunt. How about that? Takes it to 32. That's a nice gain. And sets up Orlando nicely with some good field position. But yeah, you know, stuff like that. If Arizona had the drive that they just had on the previous drive, instead of throwing it at pick 6, it's an 11-6 ball game, and there's a lot more pressure on Orlando's offense. Because the Apollos are still up by 2 scores, there's not a whole lot of pressure on them. Let's see. Apollos can't take their foot off the gas. Gotta make sure that they run down the clock nicely and pick up some good yards. On the ground, it's Johnson and Hay. That has been the story of this game for both sides. Rakeem Yates. Man, what a play. This Hotshots defense, you know, I know this game on paper might look like Orlando's dominated, but this defense is dominated today. Even Garrett Gilbert, he hasn't thrown a touchdown. He's made some shaky passes. And this is going to be one of those games that will probably get away from Arizona because of the pick 6 and just some things that didn't go their way. But that defense should be really proud of themselves. Again, since giving up 38 points to Salt Lake in week 1, they gave up 20 to Memphis, but they won that. They gave up 15 to Salt Lake in a heartbreaking loss. They gave up 24 to Atlanta, but they shut them out till the very end. And only gave up 14 to San Antonio. On the ground, and hey, another big play. I keep saying hey. Steven Johnson. 3rd and 12. Big 3rd and 12 now for the Apollos, and they're going to be forced to throw the football. And Johnson there's just no lanes from this offensive line. Just been all out of sorts today, and they're one of the better ones in this league. We've seen them give plenty of holes to Johnson throughout the season, but not today. About 5 minutes left in this game. Huge 3rd and 12. Back to throws Gilbert. Arizona brings the house. Gilbert got a big completion. Wow, and it's Charles Johnson to the 45. My goodness. Johnson having a monster day. That's a crusher for the Hotshots. He was getting lit up. Gilbert with a perfect throw on the money to Johnson. to pick up the first down when they desperately needed one. And that stinks for the Hotshots. You know, this defense has been playing a heck of a game, and Rick Neuheisel decides to bring the house, and it's not the best call in the world on 3rd and 12. You know, Orlando's offense has been pretty lackluster. I know they were trying to force Gilbert to get rid of the football quickly, which they did. They just couldn't cover. And there goes Johnson with a nice little lane, one of the only lanes he's had this game. And he's not even averaging 2 yards a carry. It's not been a good day for him, but Orlando just a few minutes away from snapping their 2-game losing streak and picking up a big win at home before they go back on the road for a couple more weeks. 2nd and 5. Once again, staying on the ground as they should. That's Johnson to the 37. 3rd and 2 coming up now for the Apollos as time continues to tick, and pretty sure that first down at Charles Johnson just kind of solidified this game. You know, they're up by 2 scores. Closing in on 3 minutes. Not much left for Arizona to do, but they can try to get a stop here on 3rd and 2. And they give it on the end around, and that's Johnson who goes absolutely nowhere. Swung down at the 40. And I think Orlando's actually going to have to pump now. Spaliano has had a few really great plays today, and Arizona will, you know, have a minuscule chance now at this ball game. But I'd say it's pretty much guaranteed for Orlando, despite that loss on the play. Ben Turk to punt it away. He's been out here a lot this second half. He'll boot it, and will Orlando get a good bounce? Oh yeah. Perfectly done. At the 7, and Wolford had a nice drive there. But it's just a little bit too little, a little bit too late for this Hotshots team. And 1st and 10 coming up from the 7. .223 to play. They have all 3 timeouts in the 2-minute warning, but they need 2 scores, and they got to go 93 yards. We'll see. 1st and 10 from the 7. High snap. They go on the ground. I don't know why you do that there, because now it's going to run down their 2-minute warning. I don't know. It's a questionable call from Rick Neuheisel. You get a quick pass to the sidelines. Still got another play to run before the 2-minute warning, and now you don't. 2 minutes left in this ball game. The Apollos, they're 2-3 on the season, but looking to get to 3-3, back to the 500 mark. Up 17-6 to Hotshots. 3-2, but in danger of falling to 3-3 here. See what they can do. Only 2 minutes to play. 2nd and 4 from their own 13. Back to throw is John Wolford. Has to let it go. He's been taken down for the 3rd time today. That's Leon Orr. What a play. And this Orlando defense has just been stepping it up today. Wolford gets crushed at the 6, and now I think they use a timeout. 3rd and 11 coming up. What a play. And Arizona, you know, they're going to host San Diego next week. They're going to have to hope that the Fleet lose to the Iron today, this week, excuse me. Because otherwise, they're not going to be able to claim a playoff spot next week, even if they beat them. 3rd and 11, Wolford to throw. All day he's going to just take a deep shot down the field, and it's knocked away. Looking for Rashad Ross, and that time Marquez White says no. He got burned a couple of times this quarter, but he wasn't going to let that happen again. It's a nice defense play, and look at this. I mean, this is not a bad throw from Wolford. Ross just isn't able to get any separation. 4th and 11, and quite obviously they're going to go for it here from their own 6. Game on the line. 1:35 to play. Wolford will throw. And he's got a man wide open. It's complete. Gerald Christian, the tight end, up to the 25. That's a 1st down and keeps the chains moving but there's not a lot of time. Fourth and 11 conversion, but it's not going to do them a whole lot. As we're nearing a minute to play. Wolford will throw. To the sidelines, and it's almost intercepted again. Dangerous. Mark Myers gets his hands on it. To bring up 2nd and 10 now for the 25. 1 minute and 3 seconds to go, and Orlando can get back on track with a big win at home. Back to throw, Wolford. Quick pass, and it's somehow complete. Freddie Martino at the 39. It's a gain of 14 on the play, and it's Martino's second catch of the day. Time continuing to run, and I'd say it's pretty much a done deal. Once they get a touchdown like this play. Wolford to throw, pressured, deep down the sidelines, and it's complete to Martino, and he does not get out of bounds, so they have to blow a timeout, but he makes the catch to the 38. So Wolford, that's a nice throw down the sidelines. Martino now somehow gets 51 yards in the day. Orlando just needs to hold up for 31 more seconds. I think the most disappointing part of this game for Rick Neuheisel and the Hotshots is that this offense, we know that they could do this kind of at will, so it's just frustrating for them that they weren't able to do this earlier on in the ballgame. Wolford, deep down the sidelines, and it is knocked away. Looking for Josh Huff. And Wolford has thrown for over 100 yards this quarter. Actually, I think he's thrown for about 125. He hit the 200 mark on the day. But as I said, it's just a little bit too little, a little bit too late. The defense did a phenomenal job holding up. I mean, granted, they only gave up 11 points to the offense, but Arizona just couldn't get things going. Wolford steps up in the pocket, going deep, knocked away. Looking for Ross again. That's a nice breakup by Marquez White again. 3rd and 10 from the 38. Big third down. 20 seconds to go. Still a 0.01% chance for the Hotshots to win, so they can't give up hope. Wolford to throw again. Pressured. Has to let it rip deep down the field towards the end zone. Knocked away. Looking for Ross again. 4th and 10 now from the 38. Now, do you kick a field goal here? Do you let Nick Folk try a 55-yarder? And this ball is just a little bit behind Ross, and he's well covered. Arizona just kind of, obviously he's at the point in the game where we're just heaving it up down the field and hoping for the best. Not a whole lot of skill involved. 4th and 10 from the 38. See what Arizona can do. They got one timeout left, so they do convert here. They would have one more shot. Back to throw is Wolford. Deep, and it's complete. And they take the timeout at the 13. That's a catch by Josh Huff. His first catch of the day. And it sets him up 1st and goal at the 13 with 6 seconds to play. See if they can maybe get some brownie points on a touchdown here before the game ends. 1st and 10. Wolford to throw. With time, getting pressured, goes to the end zone. It's tipped up and incomplete. And that should end this ball game. It does. Orlando snaps their 2-game losing streak. They win 17-6 here at home. Steve Spurrier's squad finds a way to get it done. They improved to 3-3 on the season, and they at least, for now, maintain 2nd seed in the AAF East. Ladarius Gunner with that pick 6 that really kind of sealed the deal for the Apollos to start the 4th quarter. Arizona can't give up hope. They're 3-3. They really put together a couple nice games in a row. This is a bump in the road for them. They're hosting San Diego next week. They're going to be firing on all cylinders if they want to win that one. But hey, some exciting football here, and we thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this game. If you did, make sure to subscribe to our channel here and go follow us on Twitter to stay up to date with all the exciting AAF Simulated action. Also, check out the AAF sheets down in the description below. We get access to all the individual player stats, game stats, season stats, the standings, power rankings, all that important stuff. And if you feel like supporting us financially, you can do so. We've got a PayPal link down in the description below, or some merch if you're interested in that. You know, whatever you guys can do to support us, we'd greatly appreciate it. You know, if you can't financially support us, that's totally cool. Just keep watching and doing all that you can there. Thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And we've got a matchup between San Antonio and Atlanta coming up.